We've got Peach's Kid Chameleon run coming up, and after that there's going to be Castlevania. I'm really looking forward to both of these runs. I'm going to be here through the next two games, the games I just mentioned, before we switch over to Castlevania 3 that you see on the screen right now. We're almost ready for that Kid Chameleon run, and we're getting in donations towards Peaches. I'm going to save them just for a moment, but if you want to get your donation read on the air, that would be a fantastic time to send it in during this run. And it looks like everything is ready for Kid Chameleon, so I'm going to throw it over to Peaches as we get started with the run.
All right, am I on? Oh, hi, hello everyone. I am Peaches, and I'm gonna get started on Kid Chameleon. We'll just get right into it. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Kid Chameleon, originally for the Genesis. I am running it on a virtual console, though. And this was always one of my favorite games growing up. I kind of mentioned it in the interview, but one of the big reasons why I like this game so much is there's like all these branching paths in this game. It's like this really vast game. I guess maybe let me take a step back and talk about kind of what the game is. So it's sort of a meta game. It's a game about beating a game. There's a new virtual reality machine in town, and it lets you walk into it, and it kind of creates worlds for you to play the game in, right? But the boss becomes sentient and starts capturing kids by beating them at the game. You play as the Kid Chameleon, who's too cool to be beat, and so you have to save the kids by beating the game. So pretty light on the story, but very, very heavy on the gameplay. I really, really loved this game as a kid because it felt like every single time that I played it, I would find some new level or new path. And once I got kind of into speedrunning when I was older, it was really fun to kind of, learn the fastest way through it. So there's these P-bricks, which give you power-ups, and these will, give you different abilities that let you traverse through the levels. And they'll have kind of different weights to them and different speeds. And also different hit points. If you notice on the top left, I have these 4 filled-in circles and 1 black one. Those are my health points. And when I lose all of those filled-in circles, then I turn back into the kid. And if I lose the kid's 2 health points, then I die. So the game is mostly a matter of like finding out the kind of the optimal path through the levels, using the power-ups that they give you. And this is kind of the score tally screen. There are different bonuses that you get depending on kind of how you play the level. You can either get a no-hit bonus if you don't get hit. You can get a no-prize bonus if you don't collect a prize. Or there's also a speed bonus. And the speed bonuses are all like pretty generous. I think they were meant just for people who are playing like at a decent speed, right? It's not like you have to go super crazy to get like S ranks or whatever. Okay. So this is the first kind of deviation from the path. This is what's called an elsewhere by the game. They're like really, really short kind of mini levels that are, hardly bigger than a screen. And I'm going to use it to get this helmet here, which allows me to fly. And that's going to be really, really useful coming up. And what's special about this helmet is that you can't get it really in any of these levels that I'm going to be taking it through. So it's got kind of a high risk, high reward thing where if I lose it, I can't get it back. But it helps me get through the game much faster. And this teleporter actually takes me to the same place that the flag would have taken me. So really all it does is it just kind of speeds up the run by allowing me to skip the point tally screen. So points are actually going to be kind of a big aspect of this run. Because every 50,000 points that you get a 1-up. So if you can kind of spare your health points, or if you can go out of your way to pick up a prize or a gem, it'll add up and save you time for 2 reasons. First is that every 10 of those that you get, you'll skip a 1-up, but then also you're just not watching the points tally at all when you finish the level. So I try to route out throughout this whole game, like where I can get hit, where I can play it safe, so on and so forth. Here's going to be the first 1-up. You just have to watch it bounce around the screen for a while, and it takes about 3 seconds per 1-up. But you can see how this helmet really pays off in order to do some of these levels very, very quickly. So coming up here is one of the first kind of like death wall stages. There's like a approaching wall of saw blades that'll kill me instantly if it touches me, so gotta go fast. pretty fast. Okay, so I'm coming up to, there's like a bridge that disappears and reappears on a global timer. And if I fall down it, I will probably die, so I need to pay attention to the time. Okay. That was not how I expected to get out of there, but it worked. I'll take it. Because it refreshes very, very slowly, so if I were to get stuck underneath that, I almost definitely would have died. So I'll take that. Another one up coming up. This is a good time for a donation.
I was just about to ask.
Cool.
The Winslinator.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. $27 from Winslinator. It says, Peaches, your Kid Chameleon run at AGDQ 2012 was what inspired me to speedrun myself. And I thank you for that. This is my unofficial donation incentive towards doing Forbidden Minefield. Good luck.
I was going to do it anyways, but thank you, Wins. Yeah, so Winslinator, here, this is a good segue into kind of the history of speedrunning of this game. So for a long time, I was the only person who really ran it, at least like seriously, right? There's plenty of people who kind of like picked it up here and there, but I was really trying to like push it lower. And after I think it was AGDQ 2015, I think it was, I ended up kind of like taking a break with it, and the Winslinator came onto the scene, and he found a bunch of new boss skips, or not skips, rather, boss strats. And they're pretty sick, so he beat my time, and so I was compelled to like pick the game back up. And you know, he said that I inspired him to start running. Well, he inspired me to come back. So shoutouts to the Winslinator. So that was Sinister Sewers. That was a level where RNG can play a factor, but of course it didn't. So in that level, there are tornadoes that fly around, and they're RNG based. I can't like manipulate where they're flying. And it's just kind of a Murphy's Law thing where I swear every time I go in there with 2 HP, they're nowhere to be seen. And every time I go in there with 1 HP, I lose my helmet here. So it figures, you know, that they wouldn't show up. Yeah, this next level is also good for a donation if there's another one waiting.
Absolutely. This was
cool.
$10 for Doctors Without Borders. It's from Zach SK. It says, Go Peaches. Even without live footage of an actual dog, I'm sure you can do well. Shoutouts to Reggie the dog.
Thank you, Zach.
That dog is adorable, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got kind of a longer donation here.
Yes, yeah, that works.
You sure?
Yep,
Okay.
go for it.
Hawkeye Pierce 780 sends in $25. He says, this is the 5th year I've enjoyed SGDQ, mostly in VOD form, but this is the 2nd year live. It makes my heart swell with pride to see gamers assemble for such a good cause. And a huge round of applause to the GDQ crew. The production value has improved year over year, showcasing the absolute dedication and passion that everyone involved has for such a worthy cause. Here's $25, a small token of my appreciation.
Awesome, thank you. So in that level, you might have noticed that I kind of like backed up even after I sort of cleared that last obstacle. The reason was I deliberately took a hit. Like I went out of my way to take a hit. And the reason for that is that later in the run, there's going to be a potential for me to skip a 1-up by opening a block that gives me 10,000 points. And if I do that during a level and I cross over that 50,000 point threshold, it'll skip the 1-up animation and save about 3 seconds. So me backing up for a little bit there might end up paying off. So we're going into the first boss here. This is Ashika Boss. Hopefully I'll get the new strat. Let's find out. I want to get hit here. Okay. Perfect. Nice. Okay. That was really good. That's a lot faster than anything you've seen in the marathon before. So, shout out to the Winslinator. He kind of adapted that into RTAs, and yeah, I have him to thank for that time save. So that was the first stage of the game. Even though the paths kind of branch all over the place, as long as you don't skip bosses, you have to go through them, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. I lost visual. Completely lost my visual. Can the stream see it? Okay, I'm gonna play on another TV then. Should I just move my chair?
Peaches, can I sneak in a donation here?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. This is from Sloth Hummus. Slot Hummus? Oh, okay. This guy sends in $500. I love this guy. Everyone. Yes. Yeah. Despite how brutally I pronounce your name, he sends in $500 and he says, everyone be happy. Love all of you guys. And good luck to everyone. Thank you very much. One more for you, Peaches, if it's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Telestio sends in $25 and says, always a pleasure to see Peaches do a run. It's only been a week since your last Kid Chameleon record break, but here's to hoping. And he adds Frankersy.
Okay, so we're getting to another helmet that's going to be really important to hang on to. It's this guy right here. And whoops, kind of wanted to bounce 3 times. Yikes. I have to play really safe on these things because these platforms are really glitchy. If you actually touch one as it's rising, it will like squish you on the way up. So you have to just completely respect them. All right, so now that I've got this, I can just kind of fly over this level. And it's kind of silly because this level actually got some optimizations too. The thing about flying is that when you fly, you sort of decay to a slower speed than you do when you're running. So anytime that you can land on something to return to running speed and get your momentum up, that's going to speed you up. So at the beginning of this level, there was a new kind of jump that I wasn't doing before that saved like half a second, which is, I think it's kind of silly how there's an optimization on this level that's like so incredibly simple. And I could fly through that dude and take a hit. It would save like about a second. But I really, really want to keep my HP for the level after this next one. Okay, so coming up is, I think it's like the most iconic trick of the run. I hope I get it. It saves about 11 seconds if I do it right. Nope, didn't get it. Oof, that's a bummer. Well, there's still plenty of time to save compared to my GDQ15 run. That was kind of one of my like unofficial goals going into this was I really wanted to beat my 2840 from AGDQ 2015. So that's 11 seconds I'm going to have to make up for it, but that's okay. It's better than dying because there's 2 ways to get that trick. You can either get a double bounce, which kind of guarantees that you're going to get the speed that you need, or you can get a single bounce, which means that you have to land really early and then fly really, really quickly. And if you do that, there's a pretty good chance that you won't touch the ground fast enough and you won't get out of your flying animation and it squishes you, so you die. So I avoided that. That's good, at least. And this here was my least favorite jump in the game. Figures. It loses like a second, but I just hate that jump. All right. And so that's like the main goal is I want to beat that 2840. I guess a nice secondary goal would be to try to get a 27. I'm assuming that's why Wins donated $27 earlier. Kind of a symbolic donation. The record, by the way, for this game is 27:05, which I actually set the Monday before GDQ. Am I going to go for this? Nope. Okay. There's a cycle skip I could have gotten, but that's another one that I was dying on in practice. So just take it easy for a little bit. But yeah, so the record is currently 27:05, and my like long-term goal would be to get a sub 27. But I don't think we'll get it on this run, but that's fine. marathon luck always happens. So I was explaining before about the bosses, right, where you have to go through them as long as you don't skip them, which kind of sounds redundant. But there are many boss skips in this game. It's possible to skip just the first boss. You can skip just the second boss. You can skip the first 2 bosses. Or there's a warp at the end of level 2 that actually takes you straight to the final boss, and that's like a 90-second run. Oh, speaking of bosses, we're going on to another one here. This has another new strat as well. This one's pretty fun, if I can get it. Let's find out. Die, please. Yes. That was perfect. Whew. So that one's a little bit risky, even if I get the bounce on the left, because if you bounce, every time that you bounce on an enemy in this game, you gain speed. And if you bounce that much on that left head, you can zip into the ground and die. So I dismounted from his head properly. But yeah, because of the fact that you can skip most of the bosses, that's kind of where a lot of the category runs, category names kind of come from. Because I remember, geez, I first ran this game, it must have been like 2012. I was doing a, not like quite blind race, but just like rusty race with Held. And we did a race just to beat the first boss. And so we called it, I think it was just like Beat Boss 1. It was really fun, so we decided to do it again. And from there, it was like, Beat Boss 2, Beat Boss 3. And eventually, it just sort of like morphed into just calling it 4 Boss, just to make it simple. Because this is back in 2012, where, any percent and 100% were a thing, but it wasn't quite, nowadays where it's like people just put percent after something and it works, right? So category names weren't like super established, I guess, back then. So that's kind of the reason for it being called 4 Boss. So in this level, I actually went out of my way to take a hit as well. So there's a path bonus that you see, and that doesn't occur on every level. The thing that's special about it, though, is that if you were to get no path bonus, no hit bonus, no prize bonus, and speed bonus, the game will like just lag like crazy. It'll go super slow, and it's definitely worth it to take a hit to prevent that lag. So I'm a little bit worried because I didn't take a hit in Sinister Sewers, so that means that I can't afford to go into a very hard trick with 2 HP. Get away from me. Okay, 1 yo-yo. All right, I'll take that. So I want to get hit once here and then once on the next level. And the Winslander mentioned in his donation that I need to go for the Forbidden Minefield. So this is like a little bit of a meme trick, but I'm going to go for it anyways. It's very, very tough and has not a super high rate of success, but still have to go for it. I have to do it. No one will let me live it down. The Kid Chameleon community will never let me show my face again. All right, we're going to go for it. It's right here. Perfect. Okay. Okay. All right, that salvages everything. I'm happy now. I don't care if this is like a 35. I got it. All right, so if I were to touch any of those, and the hitbox is much bigger than it looks, if I were to touch any of those, I would have lost my helmet and had to restart the level. And there's a save strat that's like 100% guaranteed, and it only costs 1 second. So I risked about 30 seconds of time loss to save 1 second for you guys. Oh, I'm really happy that worked. Good Lord. Okay, so that also means actually that I should be on pace now to get the 1-up skip, which is cool because that's another kind of new trick that Win's adopted as well that, saves some time. So I won't let him down, I hope. So with the fly suit here, you kind of like stick to, whoa, get away from me. All right, that's okay. That just means I have to change my route a little bit. So the fly sticks on stuff, right? And whenever there's those like one gap kind of chutes that you have to drop down, you need like a very gentle touch in order to, whoops, too gentle. In order to jump off of surfaces. So yeah, I ended up kind of sticking to the walls on the way down, and it kind of sucks because if you just thread the needle, you shoot straight down it, and if you get stuck, you have to kind of do this like wiggle to try to break yourself off of the edge. This is a good time for a donation if there's any.
There are plenty coming in for this run, Peaches.
All right, cool.
I have one from Tyadran. It's a $25 donation. He says, "Hey Peaches, glad to catch your run and awesome to see this game we adore back at GDQ. Keep it up and make us proud."
Thank you, Ty.
Here's a donation from Nifboy. It's a $25 donation towards Doctors Without Borders. He says, "Had to donate for Kid Chameleon. The game I loved as a kid and was inspired to try and break with task tools. Keep being awesome and bounce on those heads." Tojin89 sends in $10. Says, Kid Chameleon totally brings me back to my Mega Drive childhood. Cool to watch it getting destroyed." Can I sneak in one more, Peaches?
Yeah, time for one more.
All right, Not Kyle 22188 sends in $10 and says, "Bacon and peanut butter for Reggie? I'll collect later. Good luck on the run, man."
All right, thank you. All right, I'll kill that guy later. He was supposed to die first, but... All right, come here, guy. He's got to have 1 HP, yep. It's another Murphy's Law thing. Every time that a boss lives, he's always got 1 HP. But yeah, that was a new strat too. That what I just did was still probably about 10 seconds faster than what I did at the last GDQ. So very good strat. Ooh, nice. We can get the greedy strat. So for some reason, when you run in like certain cycles, you can go over one tile gaps, and if you do that on this level, you can just barely, if you sacrifice 2 of your hit points, get through here. And it saves about 1/4 of a second. So I call it a very greedy strat because all it does is it lets you get through that one disappearing wall. So really the only time you save is the time it takes you to like drive from one wall to another. But time saved is time saved. I just have to not get hit. Getting hit here would be devastating. Because in this level, you just turn upside down and do all this. I would have to go up all this on the left side as the kid. And it's actually like optimal to get hit there. I'm fine with that. Okay, so speaking of RNG again, these are the aliens, and these are just absolute run killers, just constantly. Ooh, that was actually very nice. Oh, that was good RNG. Usually these guys will kind of like park themselves over you and just kind of like rain down their urine on top of you, and it really sucks. If I were to take damage there, I would have to just restart the level, because you cannot shake them once they lock onto you. All right, this is also a new route from last time that you may have seen this in the marathon. It turns out that there's a Cyclone Suit here, which you can get with some kind of tricky jumps with the fly. Oh, okay. Do not want to get hit twice. All right. And that allows me to enter Ice God's Vengeance, which is kind of one of the more... I think this is like one of my favorite levels in this game is Ice God's Vengeance. It feels like the Kid Chameleon level. And what's cool about it is every path has to go through it. As long as you don't skip like straight to the end boss, you will have to go through this level. It makes me a little bit sad because like I thought that the old route with the fly was really fun, but it's fast and easy with this, so I'll take it. Something that's kind of weird about this Cyclone Suit is that you don't want to mash as fast as possible to fly. You need a very specific rhythm. If you mash, you'll like bump your head before it's ready to like take another hit to, you know, continue revealing those platforms. Ooh, okay, get away from me. All right. That was spooky. Okay, oh, I didn't see my points. I don't know if I can get a one-up skip. I'm just gonna go for it. I wasn't paying attention. So the idea as you enter this level, or rather as I enter Ice God's Vengeance, because that's the last flag that I touched, If I enter it with anywhere between 540,000 and 549,990 points, I can open up a 10K brick in order to skip a one up here. So I don't actually know if I'm primed to get it, but I'm just going to go for it anyways. Because I have to like activate these shooter bricks, and I get a little bit of time. Nice. I get a little bit of time to set that up. Perfect. All right, let's see if I got it. If I have 550 or more, then I got it. Nice. Oh, by 20 points. Jeez. Wow. All right, this is Alien Isle. This is probably one of the most player-unfriendly levels in the game. It's also very run-unfriendly because I have to go through a bunch of aliens. That was a continue. Never going to use it, but it's fun to collect it. All right, stay away. Stay away. All right, I'm going to take at least one hit here. Get away from me. All right, I should be good. In fact, I purposely want to take 2 hits here. So I'm going to jump to cancel my teleporter timer. And I want to be the kid here because it's a little bit easier to do this level. The kid runs faster than the fly, so it's just easier to like manage your speed. All right, so we're coming into one last RNG kind of gatekeeper. This is kind of like Super Mario Bros. 3 basically. I want to not get hit by any of these hands. 1 hit's fine, I'll take it. And here, I'm just gonna let Jesus take the wheel. Like, don't hit me, please. Okay. I just go neutral there, and it's about like an 80% chance that I don't get hit. Sometimes the hand just jumps into me anyways. So it's good. That means I can go for a cycle skip in this next level. All right, this is the final marathon. This is the penultimate level. It's very, very tough. Gotta get a specific jump. Didn't get it. Okay, I'm actually gonna go back to get this. Whoop. All right. Not a big time loss. It just means I can't get the cycle skip. What am I doing? Okay. So that was a small time loss, but it'll end up being worth it because I would have gotten destroyed later on if I tried to continue that level. Okay, so there's these bricks here, and I could have skipped the cycle on that, but doing it without the extra 10 gems would not have been worth. So now I can afford to take one more hit here. And then I want to use invincibility here. That's the other 20 gem power. Which, by the way, I probably should have explained that. So the gems that you get, every helmet has its own set of powers that you activate when you hit a certain threshold of gems. And the useful ones are the Samurai Suit, lets you slow down time, which works on bosses. And the Sky Cutter, the cool hoverboard dude, he's invincible for a little bit. Okay, so here we are at the last boss. This guy is a wild boss. Hopefully I don't mess this up, because it's very, very easy to mess up. And this is a new strat too, so again, shoutouts to Wins for changing every single boss. Ooh, that's not good. All right, I saved it. All right, get ready on time. Oh, this has got to be a 27. Time. That's going to be like a 27:40. Can I ask what my time was? What is it? Oh, 28:05. All right, that was close to 27. There was the TV snafu. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with that run though, because I got the Forbidden Minefield, and I got basically every boss strat, and yeah, that's really all I wanted. So, and it was faster than the GDQ15 run, so super happy with that. As you can see, the ending is just as straightforward as the story itself. You beat the game, so you beat the game, and the credits are kind of cute. So yeah, if I could do a couple of shout-outs, I just want to say shout-outs to Bianca, hi to Rami, Dante, Brett, any of my buddies, coworkers from Seattle who might be watching, and thank you to all of you who are watching today. It was really awesome to have another shot to run this again and show off some of the new strats, and I'm really, really happy that they went pretty well. So thank you GDQ for giving me a chance to show this off, and thanks everyone who was watching. So thanks.
What a fantastic run of Kid Chameleon by Peaches. Such an improvement over the previous run from a couple of years ago. There's a few donations I want to sneak in here. This one's from Tyadran. It's a $25 donation. He says, had to donate again for the Forbidden Minefield. I didn't expect it would go that well. Venom G sends in $25. He says, ouch, bummer. Shout out to my boy Peaches and to Reggie being a good boy back home. One more here. This is Juan Chop, 25. He sends in $25 to Doctors Without Borders. And he's a big fan of this game because he says, it always bummed me out that this game's box art showed Kid with his sweet leather jacket. And then the game starts, and he just takes it off. Although, I guess it is Summer Games Done Quick, so I'll let him take it off and donate $25 towards the slime glitch. Thank you very much, Juan Chop. All right, everybody, as we get set up for the Castlevania block, one of my all-time favorite game series. And I'm so excited for these next two runs. Castlevania 1 is one of my favorite speedruns, period. And Castlevania 3 by Mike Canis, who's also a fantastic runner. I want to get over to that, but first, we're going to take a few short breaks, and we'll be back in about 90 seconds. Stay tuned to GDQ.
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. That any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. This is where your story begins. Maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
All right, everyone, welcome back to SGDQ. We are set up for, yes, everyone, few ads. You guys didn't have them here, yeah. We're set up for an interview, so we're going to throw over there and talk to some of the Castlevania runners.
Thank you, guys. Again, welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2018. I am Spike Pachita. And guys, it's time for always one of the highest quality speedrun blocks of this marathon. That is the Castlevania block. We're going to be kicking off here with Castlevania 1 being run by Comrade, Castlevania 3, Cypher Out specifically by Mike Canis, and then it will be then finished off with these two fine gentlemen to my right. We got Darrenville and Clage running Circle of the Moon and Bloodlines respectively. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Great.
Doing great.
That's awesome. We're a little more awake. The first couple of interviews, it was like, we're waking up. We're still getting into this. We got our coffee in us. So I'm going to start off with you, Darrenville, first for Circle of the Moon. This was actually the first Castlevania game I ever played as a kid. Got it launch day for my Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I loved it, dude. But it has actually never been at a GDQ before, which is amazing to say. I loved the game. What does it mean to you to get to be its inaugural performance at a GDQ?
Yeah, I think it's great. Like you were saying, so it's a launch title for the GBA, and it's kind of one of those overlooked gems in the Castlevania series, the handheld Castlevania series. And I only picked this up just about a year ago. And for a while, for speedrunning, I thought Mega Man X 1 through 3 was just going to be my thing, and that's where my interests were going to stay. And then I picked up that game because I got invited to this relay race type thing. And I hadn't played it in a while, and I was like, you know, I really loved that game as a kid. I should look at the speedrun. And it looked really interesting, so I just went for it, and then here we are. So.
And here, next thing you know, you're on the biggest stage in speedrunning. Awesome to see.
Exactly.
I'm going to bounce back and forth between each of you for this question right here, because both of you guys, awesome enough, we love bid wars at these GDQs. It's a lot more than just save, kill the animals. You guys each will play completely different characters in each of your runs. Based on your donation dollars right now, guys, you have CV 1 and 3 to get in those donations to decide. I want to start with you, Darrenville. We've got Fighter Mode and Magician Mode. Now, outside of just Fighter and Magician, what do you think that really adds as flavoring to the run?
Yeah, so by themselves, Magician and Fighter are almost complete opposites of each other.
Wow.
For Fighter Mode, you got really high strength. You don't have any of the DSS cards though, so there's no magic. And you also have really high health, so you can kind of just tank everything as you go through. There's a little bit more of like a level up routing throughout the run, whipping enemies as you go. Whereas Magician Mode, very, very low health. Some very clutch moments with health management as you damage boost through the game. But you have all the DSS cards. So you've got all the summons, all the different spells that you can use, and they really do pack a huge punch. Some of the bosses you just straight up one-shot, so.
Ooh. If you guys want to see that, get in. I believe it is about a $1,500 advantage for Fighter Mode right now. Again, you guys can decide with your donation dollars. And talking to my man Clage right down here, he's going to be running Bloodlines. And yours is a very close bid war right now. Only about $250 between playing Lacard, which I believe is in the lead, over Morris.
Yep.
Tell me about the difference between the two of them.
So the easiest thing to look at is Morris's power, Lacard's speed.
Sure.
But in everything, Morris does more damage across the board, can take more damage, a little bit clunkier, doesn't have quite the mobility options Lacard does. It's really interesting because both characters actually are very close in time despite being completely different routes, more or less, because of their attacks and damage and everything. Morris was last done at my first GDQ, AGDQ 2014. Lacard was AGDQ 2016. So both routes have seen quite a bit of change since then, but Morris has definitely changed a lot more in 4 years than Lacard has in the last two. So.
It's been awesome to watch. This is the, I'm not trying to pump up your ego too much. This is the greatest compliment I could give to a GDQ runner. I have never played Bloodlines, and I feel like I know exactly how that game works over the 2 times I've gotten to watch you do them at GDQs. What is your mindset when you go in? You have like wall-to-wall, very informative, but very high energy commentary. What's, I guess, how would you describe your style?
Well, first and foremost, like everyone, I've got a lot of nerves when you get up on the stage.
Sure.
So it's really easy to just quell those by never shutting up.
Sure. Well, I know that.
But
I know that.
But the main thing is that, as a lot of people know, I actually found speedrunning from my time playing competitive fighting games. And I've spent the last 7, 8 years doing commentary. And when you learn to commentate fighting games, especially the high-speed anime games I commentate, like Guilty Gear, you learn how to divulge information really quickly. So when I commentate, I try to remember that when it's just my stream, it's people who've seen maybe hundreds, thousands of attempts and kind of have heard me say the same thing over and over again. We come to a GDQ, and that's the coolest part about these events. We've got a bunch of people who've never watched many of these games, maybe have never watched a speed run. So my mindset is just explain what you're doing with the time you have. Like, give information. That's something I've always found. People have always said they enjoy commentary most when they have a better understanding of what they're watching. It makes them feel more engaged. It makes them feel like, oh, I get it now, that's why he did this thing. Because there's so many things that, especially if it's like your main game or a game you've run for years, it's easy to take for granted something that you do that's just pure habit that actually changes the entire perspective of the run for how you do it.
Sure.
So just try to basically spit out as much info as I can, which you kind of have to pick and choose because there's times where you either need to focus or where there's just not enough time to explain. Maybe you spend an entire room setting up one thing. Well, you better start explaining before you get to that room, if
Otherwise,
possible.
it's just going to be gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of timing in my head and practice and stuff like that, and mostly just doing runs. You do runs, and then the easiest way to do it is, if you're streaming, you look at chat, see what they want to know. Because if you can interact with chat while you're doing a run and commentate, here at GDQ, obviously, all you got to do is look at the screen and commentate. So it kind of takes an extra variable out, makes it a little bit easier.
It is the third time you're running this at a GDQ. Do you find, does that change your commentary at all? Or do you still kind of look at it as, well, it could be still a lot of people's first time they're seeing you do it?
It adds little snippets. Like, again, I'm going to assume almost no one has seen this run because it has only been done 3 times. This will be the 3rd time at GDQ. So I'm going to do my best to give all the important base information while I commentate. And then, if there's certain things that's like, oh, this is very different from the last time this was in, or this was a big route change or stuff like that, that will add in. And then the rest is being adaptable. That's the best part about being commentary, as we all know. That's never happened before is kind of a thing. So you better be ready to have that's never happened before commentary. So
Absolutely.
It's not just a statement and then silence.
Let it happen in the moment. Guys, we're about to kick it up for Castlevania block. I want to rapid fire through just a couple of social media questions. Again, you can get in your questions all week for all the different runners to see what you want to know. We got one here from Lal Kamalfa. I hadn't read that name yet, so I think I got through it. For each of you, what are you most worried about during your runs?
I guess for me, if it's fighter mode, I'm not really worried about anything.
We're tanking, boys.
Yeah, just tanking everything. But if it's magician, there's a lot of like super clutch moments. There's a couple soft lock opportunities that I'm practiced enough that I can pretty much avoid. But yeah, that's a little more risky of a run.
As for you, Clay?
With Lacard, because he takes more damage and I'm playing on expert mode, so every enemy hits like a truck in expert mode. There's actually some moments where it's kind of up to RNG and enemy spacing whether or not I can do a big damage boost in the 4th stage. That would probably be my biggest worry because that's out of my control, obviously, with the big RNG. With Morris, it's more just executing. He pretty much has the health to deal with most of expert mode as long as I'm not making major mistakes. So just having a good, clean run is all I'm really worried about at that point.
Absolutely. We got one here from the Harry Nord. Each of you, what's your favorite song and the soundtrack from your specific run?
For me, what's interesting about Circle of the Moon is the soundtrack is like a lot of remixes from like CV3. There's a song from Bloodlines as well. So it's like a really cool soundtrack in that sense. I really like the Machine Tower.
Yep.
And I also really like the Underground Gallery. Those are probably my 2 favorites.
Oh, what a banger, dude.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely Stage 4, Iron Blue Intention. That also has a remix in Portrait of Ruin, which is the canonical sequel to Bloodlines. So, but Iron Blue Intention is a fantastic track. Bloodlines in general is a super underrated Castlevania soundtrack because it's a game that really understood how to use the Genesis sound chip, and as we know, that's not easy to get right. So it's a really good soundtrack, but definitely Stage 4, Iron Blue Intention is by far my favorite track.
And I want to give a shout out to Warcrime 1331 right here asking the question I definitely want to ask you guys. What do you guys think about Bloodstained coming out soon? Not just the new one, kind of the full release, but the 8-bit rendition that we just got like 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, I definitely played that. I loved it. I thought it was great. I've seen speedruns of it too. I think most of the categories all look really interesting to me, especially the ones where you switch the characters around. Sengetsu only is pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm really excited for like the full release too. Anything Castlevania is great, especially the Metroidvania style stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, same. I was in Chicago when it came out for Combo Breaker this year, and that was the first thing I did when I got back was stream my playthroughs of it. I would rank it up as probably one of the best indie platformers that's come out. I would rank it right alongside Shovel Knight personally. And speedrun potential for the 8-bit games off the charts. It has so many modes. The best analogy I've heard of it is it's a combination of classic Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden with the movement and the sub-weapon options, stuff like that. And as we all know, both those series have provided some ridiculous speedruns over the years. So that's through the charts. And then Metroidvanias are always fun when they come out because there's so much to learn, so many routes and stuff to get through. And then I look forward to Rom Scout descending from the heavens, destroying everyone's hopes and dreams, and retiring from speedrunning once again.
Yep. SGDQ 2019, we're already on our way with a couple of potential games. I want to thank Darrenville and Clage both for joining me on the couch today. Gentlemen, good luck with both of your runs.
Thank you,
Good luck
Spike.
to all the Castlevania runners. We're going to kick you up to the front for Castlevania 1, run by Comrade. Enjoy, guys.
As we're waiting for the final go-ahead on the Castlevania run by Comrade, I want to sneak in a donation here. This one's from Slot Hummus. I confirmed that pronunciation. It's a $100 donation. He says, I can't stop. Hope everyone has/had a wonderful day. Thanks very much, Slot Hummus. Sloth Hummus. $50 here from Stubbies. Says, here's $50 towards the slime ending so I can help a great cause and make the announcer smile. Well, I'm already smiling, Stubbies, but now it's a little bit wider, and I can tell you what, we're very close to that slime ending being met. That's the Dragon Warrior 3 incentive. If you want to see that special slime ending, we need $255. Yes, we're at $7,245 out of $7,500. If you want to be the guy to push over that slime ending, you want to be the one to get your donation read as the one who has approved the slime ending, we need $255 towards that incentive. Getting some donations in for the Castlevania block. This is one from the Stradivarian. Stradivarian sends $10 to Doctors Without Borders and says, hey, Clage, why isn't there any mysterious wall chicken in Castlevania Bloodlines? It's because there's a nugget of wisdom in stage 1. And we have $150 from Link the Master. With no comment. Thank you very much, Link. Every dollar helps Doctors Without Borders. Got a $200 donation. This one's from MC Hammerpants. Thank you very much, MC Hammerpants. Says, it's a beautiful piece of serendipity that on my first vacation in a very long time, the same week SGDQ is going on, I couldn't be happier. Thanks for all the excellent throwback music. Thanks for all the excellent streams. And thanks for all the good work you do. Hashtag save Meryl. Regular Dude sends in $25. Thanks, Regular Dude. Says, for the first time in 3 years viewing GDQ, I'm happy to have the ability to donate. It's great to finally support an event that brings the gaming community together for a fantastic cause. This one's for Jeff and his Monkey Ball 2 race against Utori. Hashtag Goof Troop. Make sure you check out the other donation incentives because this one's talking about the Monkey Ball 2 race. And that's something that you can help contribute towards as well. Just looking for an update on that one. It looks like we're still about $36,000 away from that one, so we have to get on that if you want to see the Monkey Ball 2 race between Jeff and Utori. Hats Off sends in $20 for Doctors Without Borders. Hats Off says, one of the great things about being a teacher is getting to stay home and watch SGDQ every summer. Keep up the great work, putting this towards saving the animals, which is the canon route. Well, hats off, thank you very much. I'm glad you're watching SGDQ, but with your summer, why don't you learn a speed run? Not a bad idea. Teachers should be speedrunners. got $75 from Nick149. This is for the name of the Dragon Warrior 3 hero.